Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another Tactical Baby Gear podcast. In this episode, Alex and I discuss kind of some interesting not new bedtime routines, but his new morning routine with his kids waking up and making a mess of things. Other kids making a mess of things in your own home, and how I'm trying to deal with that and combat that, and the lack of respect from others at times. What else, Alex? What else did we discuss?
Thinking that you're failing as a parent because you see other kids doing
things
something
that you maybe haven't done yet.
Maybe you haven't done or introduced.
A little bit of that and more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. But if I sit back, does it get too... Although, I like to sit up and get gangster on it, so I should be right on the money. All right, let me sync the audio between those two. Cool.
That's how you sync?
That is the official syncing method. So what you do is you look for the spike in the audio soundtrack between the two, and then you can sync them up.
A little tidbit for all you podcasters out there. Just clap your hands.
Travis, make sure you don't edit that out. Let's leave that in there. Education.
Don't edit out the edit of him telling you to not edit it out. Did that make sense?
That's one of those weird Inception type comments. Whatever that means.
It's Alejandro needs more coffee kind of comments.
You know what else we're going to do? We're cutting this label off. We don't want to give Deer Park any credit. Although I'm trying to cut through the glued part, which makes it more difficult.
Yeah, if anyone wants to sponsor this with Agua, we'll take it.
Take whatever sponsors you want. We get talked about that at one point, is doing sponsorships. Even there's a lot of smaller little brands that we deal with that I think could benefit from some exposure. We talked about doing some podcast sponsorship stuff at some point. We should figure that out. If you guys are so inclined and feel like you might want to be part of the podcast, email media@tacticalbabygear.com. Let's see if we can, let's figure that out. Let's figure that out. Anyways, what's going on? What's up? It's Monday.
Tired.
What's up, listeners?
I'm tired. I'm sure other people are tired.
I'm exhausted, but I'm in a great mood. I was up all night. Dogs. I let my dogs out at 2 a.m. and then 3 a.m. The old hag of a million-year-old dog was just barking. What in the world is this dog doing?
That's why I don't have dogs. I just have another form of animal called children that keep me up.
It's just the same thing.
Yeah, no, the twins, so for anyone new, I've got twin boys that are about 3.5. I got another boy who's 1.5 for all intents and purposes. So the twins have always been amazing sleepers, and they've always been they were in the same crib when they were very young. Then we separated them, and they've always been in the same room, which has been awesome up until seemingly now, because now they've moved out of crib to where they can get in and out of the toddler bed. The one son just wakes up, stares at over the other one at 6 in the morning now, wakes up the other one, and then they start destroying the closet. And it has been ongoing for a week now, trying to figure out all right, you went from literally we would waking them up at 7, they go to bed at, I don't know, we start bedtime reading books around 7:30, so sometime between 7:30 and 8 they're in the actual bed. But they've been they never used to do any it was we wake them up at around 7.
Right.
And now they're getting up at 5:50, and it doesn't matter, I was already up exercising, but still it's just what is happening?
Yep,
and I don't know how we train that.
You're not. You're just dealing with it.
Does it ever end?
No.
Because the youngest one was, I would say he's a good sleeper compared to a lot of other stories I've heard about parents and their kids, but I feel like he's just lonely in there. He's all right, there's a party going on. I'm by myself, so it's just kind of, he went from never really crying himself to sleep after we did the cry it out method to he just kind of whines now for 30 minutes, then falls asleep.
Yeah,
which he never used to do, and then he's been waking up early too. Just I'm here for the party, let's go. And it's people.
Mm-hmm.
Mom and Dad need a little more time to come to the day.
Yeah.
And so anyways,
that's been going on. Through.
Yeah,
They'll keep wrecking stuff. That you won't get out of. They'll become more self-sufficient to where they're not like, you're not going to have to get up and deal with it. Like my kids finally got to that age, like got through that where like, crap, the kids are up. That means I got to get up and I got to do all this stuff. And my kids now like get up, they'll make me coffee and bring it to me in bed. And it's like, well, that's parenting done right.
So we had one of those like, let's call it we had the handle that you push down. And there wasn't like a lock on it for the closet. Mm-hmm. So I got one of those handles, that kind of locks the handle in between the space. So like if you pull a little lever up, and so it kind of keeps it to where you can't push it down. And so they're strong enough now where they can push it and kind of like break that little, like bend the little plastic piece down to open the door. And I couldn't get like a turn knob, handle just because it's not a circle, to open the closet door. It's an actual handle. But when they go in the closet, they don't have enough strength to open it back out. So they've been locking themselves in the closet. And then we're just like, oh, fine, you're going to learn.
Yeah.
Hour later, they're still in the closet. They might have all the clothes off all the hangers. But you know what? You put yourself in there.
Yeah.
Consequences.
They'll figure it out.
Safe consequences here.
They'll figure it out. It's frustrating.
But man, it's just like, all right, when is this
seemingly never ends because my kids still do it. Even Cameron, she's 8, and she still wrecks stuff. And I'm like, what happened to this bedroom in the last 27 minutes? I don't know. I'm like, oh, no. We're cleaning this up.
So that's been the patience game too. Thankfully, they're they still have a nighttime diaper. We've gotten them pretty consistent now on all the other potty training during the day, but the nighttime hadn't crossed that bridge yet. But so they'll take all the diapers out and put it in the closet with all the books. So it's like, all right, put everything back. So it's like, herding like feral cats here. It's like, all right, they like start wandering off to the left. You're like, come back. No, we gotta put the other 47 diapers you took out back into the drawer, please.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of patience, practice and patience.
There's some
when
stuff,
you don't have enough coffee.
There's some stuff we've learned to just let go. Like, you know what? We'll just let that mess be there till tomorrow. I don't want to, because even like especially during the hurricane stuff where you're like stuck inside, you're like, well, I can make them clean this up, but then like just do an hour from now it's going to be a wreck. You're like, why fight that fight so many times? Like let's let them deal with their wreck of a room for the next 2.5 days, and then we'll clean it up.
So the only time my kids really go back into their room is like nap time and then bedtime. So it's not like, thankfully we got kind of a bonus room, and then like they'll just destroy the living room. And so, and being that it's upstairs with all the gates and with the, it's like they don't, if they clean up their mess in the morning, it will remain that way until the next day when they wreck it again. And so it's just one of those, I guess being at the age right now, I don't disagree with what you're saying. If they're like, because like the playroom or something, it's like, we're leaving that mess for another day. Like that's fine.
Right.
But when we first opened the door to have that morning, they're like, "Hey, we're up. It's been 5 hours, but we're having fun." And you're like, it's almost like the dog. Like if you don't punish the dog when they go to the bathroom in the house right then and there, and they do it 20 minutes later, I don't think there's enough correlation at the age they're at. So it's been like, you're gonna clean this up now. But thankfully, if we're not going back in there, it's not like they're gonna keep wrecking the room.
Right. Yeah.
But we let it go as it relates to the bonus room. You just have to. That's the room. Like that's why I had the room. Like destroy it. Like once a week we'll do a cleanup.
Mm-hmm.
Now if you throw stuff in the bonus room, I got a problem with that.
You know what I paid to have these walls?
No, it's not even that. It's more like just like the projectiles like inside. I'm like, that's going through my TV. Like Anders, that poor kid. The kid got nailed like 7 times, like just in the morning when I was like dealing with him yesterday morning. It was like every time we turn around, like they'd have a new toy and they'd like go to like turn and fling it, and next thing you know, his head, of course, is like right there, and just I guess that's why the youngest is always the toughest. Like if you got older brothers or sisters, sense. you because you're constantly
Travis
just getting beat
kind
up.
Of a beast.
Well, he knows not to take any
crap.
Yeah.
I was like the innocent, like one in the middle. It was like,
but like
those two were just.
Granted, like so I've got an older brother, younger sister. We used to beat up on her, but not bad. Like you know what I mean. Just like we always just kind of
sibling rivalries.
There was enough of an age gap to where we'd kind of mess with her, or like if it was on the couch, you kind of pin her down and stuff. But like we never really. I think if she was on this podcast, she would say we were pretty good to her. We weren't like evil big brothers.
Next time she's in town, maybe we'll do that.
I think she would say that we weren't the evil, kind of evil to her.
Definitely
growing
evil.
up. And even my brother and I, we didn't actually fight that much, surprisingly. That's because like my mom was not afraid to use a wooden spoon.
I've told
we can say that now. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm an adult now. They can't take me to child services, but no. She laid the hammer down, and I'm glad she did.
Yeah.
Man, I'd be running away from her, and she played tennis. It'd be like, "Walk back!" And you're like, "Oh, okay, I felt that one."
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, that pissed off Mom. I'm not gonna do that again.
Mentally noted.
Yes. But kids, you gotta beat it into them or work it into them. It takes time. They ain't gonna learn on the first try. But
to that point, my kids, especially now with the weather being nice before it gets too cold, but they now are like super into riding their bikes. So I'm able to like push them out of the house. Dude, I can't tell you how much better it gets. It's different. It's better. It's still not easy. But when they get older, where you're like, just go ride your bike. Just get outside. Go ride your bike. Kendall, like yesterday, I came home last night from the gym or wherever I was. What was yesterday? Sunday? Today's Monday.
Yeah.
Today's Monday. So yesterday. I go to the gym yesterday. I came home I went to the gym. I came home, and then I went back out, shot some video, and then I came home again. Okay, so I get home last night. Kendall shows me her knee. Her knees are banged up constantly. This kid's been falling since she could walk. Just the clumsiest kid. Anyway, her knees are banged up last night, skinned up, scabs. I'm like, what did you do to yourself today? She's like, me and Cameron tied our bikes together and tried to. I was like, you did what?
She just gets dragged down.
Like, whose idea was this? She's like, yeah, and then we ran into the bushes. Probably wasn't a good idea. I'm like, you're right. But that sounds
So where do you
funny.
stand on like all the helmet things? Because I see some kids in my neighborhood riding that I'm like, because they got like electric scooters and stuff, and I'm like, they got a helmet on, so I'm like, good for that. But I'm like, man,
it's hard. It's hard to keep them in a helmet if you're not there supervising. Which I know, like, you make them wear the helmet. And we're not real strict on it. I probably should be, but I also know that they're like riding through grass and.
Yeah, I guess where you live,
it's like they're not even on the gravel road. There's one car that
passes, and it's dirt and gravel.
It's not quite. I mean, your neighborhood.
You're not going down a big hill. You're not going down big hills, and
my kids are going like not to say that speed can't or like going slow can't hurt you. Like they could certainly fall and probably hit their head and hurt. But it's hard to enforce, man. It's like it's easier said than done. I'll tell you that.
Because there's a kid in the neighborhood who. The only reason I kind of like top of mind is this kid that's just a little bit older than twins is like can ride without training wheels and everything else. He's got older brother, so it like makes sense. And I'm like, man, have I been like failing to teach my kids how to ride a bike because like my kids don't even do like training wheels.
Right.
Granted, I've never actually put them on a bike with training wheels, but I was like, man, am I like failing as a father here because I am not to like.
I thought the same thing.
I'm like they're not riding a bike. Like some other kid, like again with older brothers, but he's like, well, they're clearly from an age standpoint, like developmentally,
they're capable,
and that's what I guess I keep having to remind myself is like, you keep putting these limitations on kids. Well, I say we. I feel like there's a lot of limitations put out there that. They're just arbitrary. That like, no, the kid's actually capable if kind of taught properly and trained and then reiterated. You know what I mean? Like, you could have a 3-year-old use a Swiss Army knife if you train him well enough. I don't think it's a wise idea to leave him unattended with one, but you know what I mean? Just that kind of like.
Well, same with swimming. Like, you could get a 9-month-old to like jump in a pool and like figure it out, you know? And you're like, what the crap?
Yeah, like I didn't know that. Like, yeah,
it's insane. You know what I mean? So like,
well, I guess I take that because like I mean, think about it. Like, 100 years ago, you had like 5-year-olds working working a industrial line
sewing
here, and I'm
machine.
like, now that's probably not wise. And I'm glad that there's some laws in place that don't do that anymore. But you're like, clearly they're capable of it.
They can do a lot more than you realize if trained properly. So yeah, I mean, but It's so easy to feel like you failed as a parent when you're like, well, my kid's not doing that. Maybe I should.
But it's not even. I mean, I don't disagree with, I guess, the sentiment with why you said that. But it was just more of like, oh man, am I like, did I miss the boat on? Was there some, in the manual on page 47?
Yeah.
Kid turns 3. You need to train him on a bike, and I was
Right.
like, oh man, did I
miss that?
Did I like? How
Skip
did I?
that
How did I
chapter.
skip that chapter? Like, should they?
Nah.
On like whatever.
I felt like I was pretty late to the game with Cameron on riding, and it's just my own fault. I mean, like, and I felt guilty about it because I was like always working, and it was so easy just to like not deal with it because training wheels, and you're like, well, you're enjoying your bike with the training wheels. Like, we'll deal with that later. I'm busy.
Yeah.
I'm the worst about stuff like that. But then I kind of just like, I started putting off other stuff. I was like, no, we're doing this. And I'm trying to remember where. I think that was at the old house. I don't even remember what house I was at when we started doing that. But that took a toll on me because you end up running around just up and down the street, running back and forth.
But when you get them to start biking outside, at least it burns down some energy for them. Do you find that your kids are a little bit more tired at night, or is it like irrelevant because they're just full of energy?
It's different now. I don't know, because during the summer is when they started to really
take a liking to just
start getting into that. And then, but it was a summertime, so they were just like wide open, and they didn't have the school structure to like mentally wind them down from learning and stuff. So they were just playing. So like physically, I think they were exhausted, but mentally probably not. So it was really hard. We struggled with bedtime all summer. I mean, it was a constant battle. Now that they're in school,
were y'all pretty consistent on during the summer, like trying to set a bedtime, short of like on a weekend if you go to a birthday party, what I mean? Or vacation.
We've tried to stick to 8:30 to 9 o'clock throughout the summer. During the school year, we're like 8 to 8:30, like trying to wind things down and get brushed.
Since your girls are older, do they pick up from kids at school that maybe parents let them stay up later, and then they come back and bring some of those questions home, or is that not something?
That's never been a thing for us.
It's more like, is the Santa Claus real kind of questions that?
No. It's usually like,
because I'm wondering, like, well, Sally gets to eat Snickers for their lunch, and you're like, well,
no. The school's pretty strict about that stuff too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The school they have like really good lunches and things like that. And my kids are weird, man. Like, I don't fight because the school does provide our school provides a really good lunch, and they have a very good selection. And so there's days where Cameron's like wants to buy lunch, and then the next day she wants to take her lunch. Yeah. So we're just kind of like let her do her thing. I don't fight with that. I'm not trying to pick that fight because the school does provide a decent meal. It's not like crap. We have I'm
but I was gonna say, it's like it's
not
not
our school, but
you're not like.
But yeah, there's things
like
that they come home with things, whether it's bad words or some ideology about something. I'm like, oh geez, like, all right, so now that's a thing I got to worry about. I can't. I've mentioned things in the past, and I can't off the top of my head because thankfully it's been pretty smooth sailing. Or so and so's boyfriend this or that. I'm like, oh God, no, please not right now.
Yeah.
But since the school year started, like, thankfully it's in their mind of like, we have school tomorrow, we have to go to bed early. So there's been like 0 fights since day one of school, which has been nice.
Because that's the biggest thing I found, even with my kids who aren't in a school structure yet. Like, kids just need structure and consistency. Because when there isn't, it's just it almost messes them up chaotic, more. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like they're almost just like,
well, and I know plenty
of
kids that have been around that have no structure, and it shows.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to parent this kid for them to a degree because this is not acceptable behavior, especially at someone. Here's a good one. The way and the attitude that I get from other kids that come to our house to play at times, not all of them, but there's some that come to our house and like they're acting like they're trying to run the show, like it's their house. And I'm like
their rules, like, well, I jump on the couch at my house with shoes on. You're like,
right? Well, yeah, things like that, or like
your mom or dad didn't buy this couch, so you
or
can
like,
get off.
Hey, get me a water. I'm like, excuse me. Not may I please have some water, but hey, get me some water. Or things
I've been driving. My kid had a
dude.
little bit of breakdown this morning because he was like, "Oh gosh, what was it about?"
And the girls.
Water. It was actually about water. Like he had set his water down on the counter, and he was like, "Where's my water?" I was like, "Well, it's over there." He's like, "I want it now." I was like, "That's great."
Yeah.
Like I want my
You can
water.
go get it yourself.
I'm like, well, you got two options. You can say, "Daddy, may I please have some water?" Or you can get off your stool and go get your water. I'm not going to say please today. I'm like, okay. Well, I want my water. I'm like, you got two legs, son. There's two ways in the world. You can either ask nicely and someone can help you, or you can do it yourself. And then don't be rude about the process of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
He got off the stool and got it.
Yep.
Had a little breakdown, but it's like just constantly. We ain't tolerating that.
Nah.
Can I get some more banana? May I please have some more banana?
I drill that into my kids. I'm like, when they go to other parents or other kids' houses, I'm like, you are absolutely to be on your best behavior. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. May I please? Da 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 da. Because there's kids that come over that are just like, and the kids, the girls, I don't know about boys. I'm assuming from my history that boys don't do this. Girls will go into a bathroom and treat it like a science lab. And it's like, what happened in this bathroom between we've banned all the slimes and things and all that kind of stuff from the house a couple of years ago after they ruined stuff. But it was constantly that stuff. And then they'll go in there and they'll start mixing up this or squirting shampoo into a cup and filling it with water and then finding some sort of glitter and like all. And then you go in there. I'm like, what are the kids doing in the bathroom? You go in there and you're like, no, every single time. So now when the kids come over, all the doors get closed for the bathrooms. And I'm like, nope, you guys are not allowed in the bathroom. Unless you're going to the bathroom, you are not alled to go in there.
Don't play in the bathroom.
Right.
You
It's
go
like,
to the bathroom, you leave the bathroom.
yeah.
My kids like putting like the soap, like if we're taking showers or whatever, like they'll put soap in the cup and like bubble it up. And then they're wasting soap. And I'm like, that's
Whatever.
Actually, not cheap soap, so please, like, let's not just waste it. But like from that standpoint. But no, I'm with you.
Oh man, it's like a freaking.
Because they've gotten more
lab.
interested now. Like just since stereotypically speaking, women have more things in a bathroom than a man. Like what's this or what's this makeup? What's it? Just because it's different, and mom has 3/4 of the space of things, and that's fine. But so they're like intrigued by it, just because like it looks like paint to them. And they're like, hey, can we paint today? And it's like, well, no, that's some of mommy's makeup.
Yeah, I've got some funny stories on that.
So they're intrigued, but just kind of drop the hammer on that. But for boys, it's more of like, can you just please not pee on the wall today? Like, aim it south.
Do I need to come help you put some like the hard plastic from like a commercial restaurant?
Exactly. They've gotten a lot better, thankfully. But initially, because you're especially when you're trying to teach them to stand up and do it, like if they don't know what they're aiming with and they don't know their own strengths, so sometimes you pinch a little too hard, it goes a little too left or right, and you're just like, oh man, that I didn't realize I had to clean the wall today. But,
oh god.
So again, we talk about making messes in a bathroom. You might have a science experiment. We got a different kind of science experiment if you don't clean it up. Because we've had it where people are coming over and like they'll use the bathroom right before, and I'll be like, all right, sorry, like I'm getting there. Or like you use the training potty and you're like, oh wow, he actually went to the bathroom without telling me. That's cool. And then you realize like an hour later, you're like, why does it smell in this? Oh, there's stuff in the training potty that didn't get cleaned out. Or
so
whatever.
Funny.
Different kind of messes with boys in the bathroom. I don't know how we got on the topic of bathroom. I'm sure some people listening got some stories about
when I was talking about
their kids in bathrooms.
Well, they're just I want to say disrespectful kids, but they come in and just wreck my stuff, man. And I'm like, and I was telling another parent that was over the other day whose kid is always extremely well behaved at our house, and we told her that like your kid's probably one of the best behaved kids and like very polite and respectful when they come over. And she's like, oh, well, that's good to know. And then we started talking about this, and I was just like, how bad some kids are and how they just disrespectful and blah, blah. And I was saying, like, man, when I was a kid, I never in a million years would I go to one of my friends' houses and just I was always on my best behavior. One, because I was deathly afraid of my parents' like consequences of something, but also like some of my friends' parents, like Mark Hodgson's dad, Mr. Hodgson is a giant. He's a huge man.
Yeah.
And I didn't want anything to do with that. You know, he yelled at me once. I spilled a drink in his car one time, and I got yelled at from him, and that was like, never wanted to piss off Rich Hodgson ever again.
No more.
But he's the nicest guy in the world. You know what I mean? But like when you're 6 and you spill a drink in your friend's dad's car and he yells at you, like, you don't want anything to do with that again. Which is funny because I've tried to play that card. Remember, I told you we were at a birthday party and I tried to play the big scary tattooed dad card to this kid that was being a complete punk, and it worked. But sometimes like kids don't care. They're like, yeah, cool, coloring book.
Come at me, bro. You're like, don't make me come at you.
Right.
I've got a few years on you.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we're going to have to start wrapping this thing up because Alex has a flight out of here soon.
Mm-hmm.
There's some other things happening today. We get to look at some of those new items that we discussed a few months ago that are on the horizon that we're super excited about.
Yes.
So I'm very pumped about that stuff. And you guys should be too, for sure. I can't wait.
Yeah, I got to check the tracking on that, find out when that's supposed to arrive. I hope I can see it before I leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, I know it was a pretty random episode here, guys, but I hope you enjoyed listening to the things happening in our lives. Things get easier. They change, but they get easier.
Take it in stride. That's what I at least tell myself.
You just have to learn to suck it up and just know that, like, it's just embracing the suck, right? And
well, because again, it's just like the crying baby all night. You can cry all night and you're miserable. The next morning, that kid smiles at you. It's like irrelevant that you were just miserable all night. Yeah. I think that's why that happens, or else, our species probably wouldn't be survived.
Yeah,
if it weren't for those happy moments with your kids where you're just like, that makes up for everything. But I was about to choke you out last night. But
if you can just learn to suck it up and deal with the messy room and deal with this and then that, and know that, just know that it's going to happen, it makes it so much easier than trying to constantly fight it. Because that becomes very stressful, and then you're just an angry, pissed off parent. Nobody wants that.
No.
So
it's not good for anyone.
Cool. Guys, thanks for listening. Make sure you leave a rating and review if you haven't already. A lot of you are listening, but you haven't subscribed. I see the data. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Guys, thanks for listening. We'll see you in the next video, podcast, episode, audio edition. Peace.